Joshua Eilers. I'm the founder of Ranger Cattle here in Austin, Texas. We do a lot of wholesale distribution of Wagyu beef that we raise right here on the ranch. I was in a bar and overheard a conversation about this guy was trying to impress a cute little blonde saying how he just spent $100 on a steak. And so I kind of interrupted him, like, well, what kind of steak was that? He said it was a Wagyu steak. He said, I've never heard of Wagyu cattle, but I feel like steaks are small, cows are big, so those $100 bills probably add up. And so I just did a little bit of research, and about a week later, bought a herd. When I was 17 years old, I left high school and joined the Army, and I wanted to be an Army Ranger because I heard they were the best. As far as naming comes, I was like, hey, I've always liked the name Ranger. It sounds good, so let's just name the beef side, Ranger Cattle. So the biggest difference between Wagyu and another type of breed, such as an Angus or one that people are more familiar with, is the intermuscular fat. So they have genetic predisposition to, instead of depositing that fat on the outside of the steak, they'll deposit intermuscularly. So it's very well marbled. And anytime you have marbling, more fat, you have more flavor. And that turns into a better eating experience for the end consumer. So the reason we specialize in Wagyu is for a pure economical standpoint. So our idea is if we're gonna raise 100 head of cows, let's raise the best 100 we can. At the end of the day, you can only make so much money off of one carcass, but if you have a really good carcass, you can make more money off of it. So we like the added value of the Wagyu breed. Better quality without the quantity. You can purchase Ranger cattle beef at any of the farmers markets that we supply in downtown Austin, or as well about 30 different restaurants. We do so much like outdoors, like our fire truck when we're cooking. We got a smoker on the back and then like 2 grills and a rotisserie up top. You see that camera up there? That's to do a live feed on a flat screen TV on the other side. We've got 2 kegerators, so it's like for tailgating or anything just to promote our brand. Like we'll go do big like cooking competitions with it, which is kind of funny because we don't actually know how to cook. We raise cows, but yeah. So we'll just use good beef, and then hopefully the product speaks for itself, and we just try not to screw it up. I think especially with the millennials and the new generation that's coming up and starting families, they really want to know what they're eating and where it's coming from. So the fact that we have an animal that we raise in Austin and it never leaves the city limits and it's even consumed by Austinites, there's a romantic aspect to it, and it's just cool. Everyone thinks it's cool. So we're able to have a competitive advantage over all of our competitors in the beef world because, hey, we're the local guys, we're the hometown kids, and hey, we have land here, so. Yeah, we're about 7 miles from downtown Austin. We're in Austin city limits. Isn't it cool? Here at Ranger Cattle, we're different than other operations, especially because most of the time in the beef industry, you have the guys that raise the mama cows that calve, and then they sell those calves to another guy who just kind of raises them out on grass. It's called a stalker. And then that guy will sell them to a feed yard, which will then sell them to a beef company, which then will distribute the meat and everything else. Well, here at Ranger Cattle, we're vertically integrated. So we'll do everything from breeding cattle, like what we're doing right now this time of year, to calving them out, raising them up, and finishing them off all ourselves. So from the day we breed until the day we deliver that finished steak is about a 3-year timeline. This guy's name's actually Kikamichi. So Wagyu is a Japanese breed, so we stay pretty traditional on the Japanese names. And the reason we like him so much is because we ran his DNA, and some real smart scientist somewhere has been able to identify certain genes in the genome of a cow that will enhance the beef quality. And essentially, if he has it, he's gonna pass it on. Well, there's 5 major traits that we've identified in Wagyu, and he's got all 5. It's about a 1 in 200,000 chance that you'll have those genetic markers, and he does. He has them all, so he's my favorite. He's probably our most valuable bull. No, we created him, so he's actually the only one alive that we know of. I think the best part of this operation and my dream coming to fruition is the number of people that we feed every day. Like there was once a magazine article written about us when we were real young, and we were feeding 50 people a day. And now we're up to like 3,000 people a day. So we're really growing, and that's that's the statistic that I care about the most, is how many people are we feeding every day. And because I think that's a beautiful thing, and the more the better. A lot of restaurants will put our name on the menu, and that helps out with us because it advertises for us as well as it makes them look pretty good, because it's easy to say that you support local or you know, this is a farm to table operation, but unless you're buying your beef local, it's not happening. I've always had a dream of raising a bunch of kids out on a ranch, and the biggest reason for that is because you see these animals grow up and you see how the land provides for them. So beef and other produce, it's not raised on the shelf of a store, whereas I think a lot of people think that it is. I heard the other day that we're 3 generations away from a farmer now, the average American is. So I love the idea that land it's in touch with nature, because that's where everything comes from in the beginning. So even if you're in downtown Austin or New York City and you're eating a steak, well, that steak came from a pasture, that came from nature, and an animal converted that grass into that steak that you're eating, no matter where you are in the world. Yeah, isn't that cool? It kind of makes me sad, to tell you the truth, that like more people don't realize that, you know? In America, we have the most reliable, cheapest food source in the world. So I think we sometimes take advantage of nature's providing capabilities.
I feel like with the big companies, big beef companies, you know, they're so out of touch with their consumer. And that's another advantage Ranger Cattle has here in Austin, Texas, is being located 7 miles from downtown. I mean, anybody can roll up out here and we can learn together. When we do tours, you know, it's like the chefs aren't the ones selling it. The waiter and waitresses, you know, that's their responsibility, and that then gets relayed to the chef, who then cooks it. Some people never, like, they serve beef at a restaurant and they've never seen a cow, you know, let alone like all these that eat right out of your hand. I want us to like be, you know, like brothers with every chef we work with, which is one advantage we do have compared to other beef suppliers within the community. Is not only do we, you know, we're vertically integrated, we cut out the middleman and everything, we don't pay someone to do something that we are perfectly capable of doing, but on top of that, we have probably the best relationships with all the chefs in Austin. You know, they can probably this afternoon, one might roll out here and be like, hey man, like, what do you need help with? You know, you want to shoot some clay pigeons? Like, of course. You know, that is, you know, you don't have to ask permission to come out. We feel like the gate should always be open, you know, unless we have cattle out there, then, you know, if the gate's open, 101, you make sure it's closed when you leave.
If you'd like to learn more about Ranger Cattle, go to rangercattle.com. On their website, you can learn more about the company, their herd. You can also contact them and discover the markets where you can find Ranger Cattle. Based on their website at the time of this recording, it states you can find their Wagyu beef in Bee Cave, Georgetown, and Austin, Texas. They also mentioned there are over 30 restaurants that serve Ranger Cattle Wagyu beef. If you'd like to reach out to them, go to their contact page, fill out this form, and they also have an email address and phone number if you'd like to schedule a tour. And as they indicated, they're very welcoming. You can also connect with Ranger Cattle on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you find this content informative, please give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe to our channel, and then share this video with everyone that you know. The more people that we reach, the more videos we can produce. Thank you for your time and support. Bon appetit and God bless.